We good to go?
Who, me?
What's that?
The color checker.
Yeah,
Tilt
No.
it. Like this? Oh, you want me to hold it? Okay.
I don't think you can move around because of the microphone, so we'll pick it up.
Okay, so I need to stand right there.
Mm-hmm.
After you're done, just sit down. Because I know you're supposed to take pictures, but it's gonna cause too much noise.
The click. You gonna
They
hear?
click when it's
All good.
click the photos, like snap. That.
All right, so I don't need to take pictures.
Yeah, I don't think you should. We'll get whatever photo from the videos, or you can use your phone. You can use your phone.
Photos afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But you know while the session is going on, but you use your phone. Use your phone instead of using the camera.
So even when he's walking around, we're gonna hear his footsteps.
Yes, yeah. So don't get up. Like if you sit down, that's it. If you stand up, that's it. Until podcast is over.
Damn.
So choose your feet right now.
Put your chair right here so you can angle us, so you can be comfortable.
What we can do afterwards is
Yeah.
like you guys have
We already have enough photos we need. So yeah, we already have.
Yeah, I
enough
think so.
Yeah, so whatever photos we want, we'll take it from the video. But let's knock this out. The time is already 6:53. So
Yeah.
all right.
And I'm
Chris, you're up. So just stand where they are. It's okay. You can stand right in front of them.
So remember, yeah, the clipboard
Yeah.
when they
What's
go
today's
action.
date?
today is
So when
the
I'm done doing this, I'll
the 10th, the 11th.
Yeah, you can sit down. Okay. So just say May 11 podcast. Take one. Scene one. Take one. So just say the date.
Today's date is 11th of May 2025.
Scene Alex.
Get it.
Mason podcast.
Get it unstuck with Janelle Palmer. Janelle
With
Palmer.
Janelle.
Oh, you can say all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He'll just say scene one. Take one.
All right. Cool.
So you can stand in the middle where they are.
Okay.
Good. That's perfect. All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna say it right. We ready?
Yeah, he said May.
I have to say,
Yeah, May 12th. 2025.
Let's see if
No, May 11th. Get the date.
Let's see if he's been paying attention.
I have to say May.
Yes, you are saying it.
When I end it.
Alex podcast scene one take one.
Okay.
Scene
May
one, take
11,
one.
25.
Yeah.
Alex
Podcast, scene one, take one.
Okay.
Yep, we're ready.
All right.
clap.
May 11, Alex podcast, scene one, take one.
You forgot 2025.
There's a clap for us. It's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's all right. All right, you're good.
One more time.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Oh,
Good.
Am I good?
Did you capture the part he did? Okay, come. Awesome. Question for you. Are you a feminist? Yes or no?
I would say,
Are you a feminist?
am I a feminist? I would say yes.
Okay, cool. It's good stuff. So, being a feminist, now, I do understand that a lot of people have different definition for feminism.
Right.
And why I ask this question, and why I'm going this way is because black families are failing
Okay.
in America.
All right.
Men find it difficult to deal with women. Women find it difficult to deal with men. The men are complaining, the women are not cooperating. And the women are complaining that the men are not masculine enough and responsible enough to lead a family. So, bringing it back, there seems to be a rise of feminine intelligence.
Right.
The question for you is, what is feminism to you?
So I would say that for me, feminism is allowing women to be able to have a choice, to be able to have equality, and to just be able to have a voice that is bold, that is authentic, you know, just being able to just show up as yourself without being judged to say, oh, she's overly sexual or, you know, she's in competition with a man. So feminism for me is just a woman just showing up in her truest form as a woman, bold, beautiful.
Okay. Do you think that men and women are the same?
Physically, I would say no, they're not the same.
Okay. So, do you think they're different?
Yes, they're different to a certain extent. I think once we think about the biological makeup of a man and a woman, yes, I do think they're different.
Now, this leads me to asking you this question.
Okay.
Do you think it's difficult for a black woman to succeed in America?
I would say yes and no.
Why yes?
Why yes? I would just say because the reason why I would say yes is because we're used to just naturally overcoming any situation that we're put in. So it doesn't matter what the barrier is, we find a way to just bypass it and keep succeeding. And why I would say it is difficult for us to be successful is that we tend to get compared to our counterparts, whether it's the white man, the white woman, the black man, you know. So I feel like a lot of times the goal is to make us show up smaller than what we are by intimidating us.
Are you intimidated?
I'm not.
Have you ever felt intimidated?
I do not.
So why do you think women have to start rising to fight intimidation?
I feel like the reason why we have to get to that place is because a lot of times men want us to be mute, right? Because when people think about submission, they think about a woman sitting quiet. You know, they say what we're supposed to be seen, not necessarily heard. I don't know if I agree, you know, because I feel like it takes two to kind of juggle it and make it work. So you got to have the input and the voice of the man and the woman. Yeah.
When you talk about input, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what you mean by input. What do you mean by input?
Input. Well, you said that the family is struggling, right?
Correct.
So why is the family struggling? Is it because of the woman? Is it because of the man? Is it something that they're both doing?
Well, there's a lot of rumors out there that black women are becoming very obstinate. That black women, with the power of feminism, are competing with men. They are men.
Yeah.
And because of that, it is becoming very, very difficult for men, the black men, to actually deal with the black women because they believe, this is not me, all right?
Okay.
They believe, which I partly agree in some point because I've spoken to a lot of black men and I see where they're coming from. And I'm speaking to a black woman now and I also want to see where you're coming from. A lot of black men believe that what the black women are requesting from the black man is unimaginable because the black man is been slave for a long time. He doesn't have access to most things, i.e. wealth. The kind of money that the black women are demanding from the black man, he doesn't have that leverage because he is coming from a background of lack.
Okay.
So when a black woman is demanding that a black man stands up to become the provider, protector, and everything, well, the black man is saying, I need money to do these things, but I don't have all the resources.
Okay.
Do you think that a black woman should understand that a black man doesn't have access to everything?
I think that we have that understanding, and that's why for so long we protect our men, right? But at the same time, the lack of resources is also an issue of the mentality, right? Because I feel like you have to start at a place first where you can believe in yourself and understand that you are capable of competing. Yes, the resources might be limited, but it's a barrier that can definitely be overcome when it's strategically done. And with the right person, the right partner, the right conversations.
So tell me, Janelle Palmer, everything you said made sense. I know you as an entrepreneur. You have, what kind of business do you have again?
So I have, it's a medical spa, so we focus on health and wellness as a lifestyle.
Okay. What do you suggest to yourself and to those people who live their life within the frames of who you are, i.e. someone else who owns your business, who's probably living whatever you're going through in life, they probably went through or are going through that same scenario right now. What do you suggest to that person on one, building a business? Let's start from there. Building a business as a black woman in America, what should they have in mind?
So it's been a true journey, but what I've really learned about building a business is as you build a business, you're really building yourself. In the process, you have to overcome and understand and be aware of who you are, right? I think a lot of times we think that we are building the business, so we focus on all of that, but through the process of building the business, you're actually building yourself because it takes a lot of tenacity, it takes a lot of resilience, and it takes a lot of passion. And it takes you getting up every day, showing up even when it's not working. Because sometimes you have it planned one way, but it shows up another way. And it creates a lot of frustration, but it just requires you really just being consistent. Even when you really don't see the end result and it's looking like things are really falling apart.
So if I get you right, just to re-echo what you said, to summarize it, you suggest that black women stay focused
Yes.
on business,
On themselves.
but when they build the business, they build it themselves.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand. I always had a coach that said, when you don't deal with your mess, it shows up in your business, and your business shows up messy.
Awesome. Awesome. Now let's track back. What do you have to say to a business woman now, a black business woman with family? Now I know you got kids, and I know you got a whole family you got to take care of, and you got to. How have you been able to deal with family and business simultaneously?
So to be fully transparent, it's definitely challenging, right? It's not impossible, but it definitely is challenging because there are times when, as a mother, your responsibility is to your children first, of course. So sometimes you feel like when you're all in the business, you're neglecting your children. But then when you're trying to focus on the children, sometimes the business goes to the wayside. So it does get frustrating trying to figure that balance out, but it's possible. And I think the reason why it is possible is when you look at it from the broader perspective, when you are consistent with building that business, you show your children that life is lived out loud, right? Every time you show up and you get through something that is difficult, something that is frustrating in that business, they get to see their mother really showing up as this woman who, I don't give up. Even when it's not working out. Sometimes I tell my kids, I'm like, don't think that mommy love you any less because she has to put some time over here. But it's important that we build legacy and we leave something behind that's greater than us. So with that in mind, it's like when the mom guilt kind of steps in and I feel like I'm not showing up for my kids 100%, I have to remind myself that what I'm doing is bigger than me. when I'm no longer here, it's going to proceed on, and my kids will be able to benefit off of that. At least that's the hope.
That's the hope.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody here kind of have something to say about that, but I'll just move on with this.
Okay.
I want you to tell me. Now let's get real.
Okay,
all right?
let's get real.
Let's get real. Enough with the whole professionalism. Let's get real.
Okay.
Personally, I think it is almost impossible to be able to win in the business world
Yeah.
and give enough
Right.
to family. I've been observing a lot of people, and a lot of people think there's something called work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I watch people who do work-life balance. They are really not at the top of the performance in their field.
Right.
Most people at the top of the field are just maniacs.
Okay.
They go all in and they let everything else go. Now, I want you to tell me, what are the pros and cons of a black single mother in America working full-time? Pros. Let's start with the pros. What are the pros of being a black mom, single black mom in America, working full-time, making all the money, building the business, and just making these moves? What are the pros to that?
Well, I think the pros, of course, like I said, is just setting a foundation for your family. You know, that's the biggest thing. And then being able to understand that as a woman, I have desires and I can still fulfill those desires and be a mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the pros is fulfilling desires.
Yeah.
What other pros comes with, or perks comes with being a black single mom in America?
What other pros?
Yeah, pros or perks.
Oh, I mean, we're amazing people. Black women are very resilient, you know, so that's a pro. We show up and we just do what we have to do.
I mean, yeah, that's a trait. You know, like those are
Right.
traits. But for example, as a black father, okay,
Yeah.
let's say as a black single father,
Okay.
I get to travel where I want to travel.
Right,
No
okay.
problem. All right? You call me. The party's over there. I'm going to show up.
Yeah, no, it's not that simple.
I got to go to Miami. All right. I'll just pack the bags on and I go. You know?
Yeah.
I can put hours in my business, you know, like non-stop, full on.
Yeah.
You know? I don't got to wake up early in the morning hearing kids crying. Those can be counted as pros of being a black single father.
Yeah.
All right? So
I get you.
what are the pros of being a black single mom in America? Because why I'm asking this question is because someone is out there right now at the point of making that decision. You know what? I'm fed up of this relationship. I got a business acumen. I'm a business person. I think I can do all good by myself with my kid. So now it's good I want us to highlight the pros because let's backtrack.
Okay.
This series is getting unstuck. We are going somewhere with this.
Okay.
But I want us to climb the stairs
Okay.
gradually. So
All
when
right.
we get there, it all makes sense.
Okay. All right.
What are the pros of being a black single mother in America?
Okay, so let me take you back because let's really be transparent, right? So I didn't choose to be a single mother. Let's start there. I didn't even have children to show up to be. I went to school to get an education to just be able to get up, and if a man is not treating me right or doing what he's supposed to, I have something to fall back on, right? But in all reality and all honesty, I just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and I definitely wanted to build a business, but it would have been more of a passion project. It would have been something that my children would have been right along with it, my husband would have been right along with it. So I'm not going to say that I feel like it's easier for business to be done as a family as opposed to one person. I mean, for men, like you said, it's different. They come and go as they please. But as a mother, there's some challenges that come along with it. So if I'm being transparent, but you got to play the hand that you're dealt. So that's what I'm doing. I'm moving forward and I'm trying to make sure that, so let me be 100% honest. That whole corporate America, that's not me, right? I did that because, one, you listen to your family, you listen to your parents, and they say, this is what stability looks like, right? So you go along with it, but you realize the more you do it, you don't feel whole, you don't feel fulfilled. You show up at a job for a paycheck to pay bills. That's not living, right? So I am a free spirit. I believe in having my time and spending it how it works for me. So that's really why I choose to do business, is because my goal is to be able to get my time back, spend more time with my family. So ultimately, the real goal is to be able to have more time with my family, to just sit on the beach, travel the world, and do whatever. But I'm one of them people, my family always got to come along. So, and I feel like when you're working in corporate America, you're very limited in the amount of money that you can make. Or if you are making a certain amount of money, it requires you to overperform. I'm not here to perform for anybody, because I'm not here to pretend to be something that I'm not, right? And although I know how to show up in that world and be professional, I like to be able to do things how it works for me. And sometimes how it works for me is not how it works in their standards. So I like to play by my own rules, pretty much.
So are you saying there are no pros?
Well, there are pros, but when you tie it in with children, you start to really look at it from a different perspective, right? Because the pros are time, freedom, but as you're building, you're still taking away a lot of time from your children, and it's a slower process because it's just you. And when you have, I think it really works when you have a team. Let's say I got my nanny on board, I got my chef on board. I have people that are still showing up in those places where sometimes I'm going to lack because I have to focus on business. But when you don't have all of that and you still have to be a mother, it's challenging. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go to the cons. What are the cons of being a single black mother in America?
What?
You gotta tell me something. 5. You gotta give me at least 5.
What are the cons? Well,
you give me 5.
Give you 5 cons.
Yeah, 5
well,
cons.
I mean, I don't know if there are any. I really can't say that. The one thing is just. I can't really tell you that because that's a difficult one to say, because how can you really say that there are cons of being a single mother in America with children?
There's gonna be cons to everything in life. Even just being here, there's a con for being here.
We make the best out of things that happen.
Right.
That's what happens.
But you initially told me you could be home right now cleaning your rooms. So
Right.
you being here mean the room is gonna be clean later.
Right.
I'm being here, I have other businesses to handle. But being here means those businesses are not taken care of at the moment. So there's always a con to everything. It doesn't mean the con is bad, but it just means the downside,
Okay,
the sacrifice that we made for those things to be happening. So what are the cons to being a black? Because before you answer, this is getting unstuck.
Right.
And you might have made the right decision in your life. But there are things that influence your decisions.
Right.
And if you don't let younger ladies know what influence your decisions. They might just think the decision is all that there is. They don't really know the detail between the decisions.
Right.
So that's why we're trying to dig deeper, because getting unstuck is about family,
Yes.
it's about life, it's about perspective, it's about the way of life and doing things, it's about business, it's about morals, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I want us to get down to the root to why decisions are made. One of the biggest things right now we're dealing with in America is that black families are getting poorer.
Yeah.
We are getting poorer.
Unfortunately.
And we're getting poorer because our families are not staying together.
Right.
And if we start dissecting and decapsulating why our families are not staying together, you see that their core understanding that we're not just aligning towards. And I'm trying to get us to that point where we start, okay, decapsulating why we are not getting in line with each other, and so that someone don't just look at you like, okay, there's someone who probably got divorced because I'm in an abusive relationship, and there's someone who got divorced because my husband or my wife was just too busy. Those are two different cases.
Yeah, very much
So if you don't clear out those lines, say, hey, these are two different cases, they will always mix it up. It's
Right.
all divorce. But when you separate the margin and just let them understand that these are two different things, so you got to pay attention to the details. So we're trying to get to the details.
To the details. Okay.
Yeah.
So
cons.
The cons of being a single mother in America, you're doing it alone.
Okay.
You got to show up for work every day, whether you're tired, whether you're sick, no matter what it doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You have to show up because the kids got to eat. But then again, when the kids are sick and you take off from work and you're at home, now you're stressed about a bill that you might get behind on because you didn't go to work that week. So, I mean, there are a lot of cons once we really get into the conversation. Not being able to have your children truly see what it means to love and be loved in a healthy space, right? I can show up as your mother, I can't show up as your father. So that becomes a disadvantage to you as my child. So there are a lot of cons, Sometimes you just don't want to get into the conversation of that.
How about multiple household income?
Yeah, that's the biggest one. That's why we overwork. That's why you go but I figured instead of picking up another job, why not do a business where sometimes I could bring my kids along, so yeah. But that's a big thing.
Big.
Yes, because especially with the way the economy is going, finances is always, that's the biggest conversation that actually ruin relationships. Yeah.
How did you, what influenced you to become a medical practitioner?
What influenced me? So at 16, I became a CNA. So my dad said, my parents pretty much wanted me to have a skill. So when I go to college, I have something that can get me through. I don't have to work at McDonald's or, I'm able to have flexibility, but at the same time be able to make decent money. So I really did not initially want to be a nurse, but what I did know is I'm a caretaker at heart. I enjoy helping people. I went to school, did psychology, came out and could not find a job. It didn't make sense, right? They wanted to pay me what I was making as a CNA. It didn't make sense. So it was either go back and get your master's and get your doctorates, or go back and become a nurse. So, I mean, my dad was a nurse. My mom is in the nursing field. It made sense because there's stability there, right? But then at the same time, I get to help people. I get to be able to show up for patients and their family in a time of need, and I get to make a difference. So that's what led me to this space. And then as the more I work in it, I realize that healthcare is really a business, right? So even though you're making a difference, you're really not. And not really the impact that you would want to make. Because you make it on the level of, oh, I came in the room, I gave my patient love, I cared for them. But then you see certain things and you're like, we're not really solving the problem. Right? So then it kind of gets frustrating. And then it brings me back to this place of entrepreneur space where it's like, I can do healthcare on my own terms, right? I'm not here to band-aid anything. I'm here to help you actually solve a problem by finding what is the root cause of the issue. So we're not just saying, let's just put a band-aid on it and then you come back and it's a revolving door. So all of that is kind of what is kind of making me feel like I love what I do. I just need to do it in a different space to be able to make the impact that I want to make.
So what space you talking about? What space have you figured that you want to do it?
What space do I want to do it in? In my own, so I'm a nurse practitioner. So pretty much I can diagnose, I can prescribe. So in my own space, I'm allowed to really focus in on the patient, the whole entire person, right? So that means I want to deal with you on a mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical level. I don't just want you to come in and we say, oh, the patient is a diabetic, so now we're going to give insulin or, put them on this lifestyle change. I want to be able to understand everything, right? Because I think sometimes when we start talking about illnesses and issues, there are deeper causes to it. And it reflects in your environment, the stresses that are going on around you. So it's more than just, oh, this patient is sick and now we're just giving them medication to treat them. That doesn't work for who I am. Yeah, so.
Did you notice that I kind of switched our conversation from the whole Black women thing?
Yes.
I switched it to a business.
You did.
I did that because I want whoever's watching right now to understand that a Black woman is actually a human being.
Yeah.
And they have goals, aspiration, and they have a plan.
Yeah. Right. So outside of family, we're more than...
You have a whole life.
Yeah, we do.
Of your own.
Yes.
Now let's go back.
Okay, take me.
With all your intelligence and all your business acumen, do you think at this day and age, it is possible for a Black woman with all her intelligence and business expertise be able to work with a Black man so they can build a whole family?
I think it definitely is possible. And the fact that it's not happening in my space, it bothers me because I see it happen in other spaces. And I feel like that's really the natural order of things. But you always hear this conversation that a man is more successful when he has a woman by his side. A woman is more successful when she's doing it alone if she doesn't have a partner that's supportive, right? And I think when you hear that conversation and you really focus on it, then you have to understand the man, right? Because does he feel intimidated by the woman? Does he feel like he's in competition with the woman, right? But I look at it, when a man is confident and comfortable in who he is and what he has going on, whatever his woman is doing is just an added benefit to his life as well. You know what I mean? But we get back to that. Go ahead.
Let me cut you on that.
Okay.
So, if I open a nail salon and you open a nail salon on the other side of the street, but you're my wife.
Right.
I open a nail salon and on the other side of the street you open a nail salon. Don't you think that's competition?
But I wouldn't do that. That's competition, but I'm not. If I open a nail salon or if you open a nail salon, I would hope that that was a conversation that we had together in our household, and we are opening a salon together. So when we have one on this side and one on that side, it's because we have already developed one together, and now we're expanding it.
You know why I asked you that question?
Why?
Because you had initially said that once a man is in his masculine fame, that there's nothing the woman can do that's going to put her in competition to him.
Okay.
Now, would you think that there are actual things that a woman, black woman, can do to a black man that signify or state out clearly, I am in competition with you?
I guess so. I think so. A woman making more money than him, you know. But I want you to go back to that conversation when you say he's in his masculine energy, because I have to get back to that, because a man and a woman, now I'm talking just from human perspective, we hold the space of both feminine and masculine, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no real balance unless you're able to, you know, maneuver both sides. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying as human beings, right? So with that being said, there are times that a man has to operate in his feminine, and then there are times that he has to operate in his masculine. And that goes for the woman as well. So it's just important that a man and a woman can be able to do that dance together and still coexist. So, because when you start getting into, well, the man is in his masculine, you know, so I get thrown off a little bit, since that's something that, it's a duality in us.
Do you think a man should be a provider, protector of the house?
I do, to a certain extent, yes.
Do you think a woman can step up and be a provider and protector of the house?
Yes, I do think so as well.
But you know the biggest problem?
What's the biggest problem?
Once a woman does that, the man is threatened.
Right, but it shouldn't be that way, right? Because, so the way I look at it is, when a man is capable, you also want your woman to be capable, because life throws so many circumstances at us, right? What if you get into some kind of accident and now you can't work, right? There's so many barriers that happen. But if I was this woman who all I did was just kind of sit back and didn't really, you know, now you're forcing me to do something that might not be in my natural space, right? So I feel like it's okay for a woman to be able to step up as well. It's just a time and a place for everything.
Okay.
Right.
Because of time, we'll be looking to end this podcast pretty soon.
Okay.
But I want you to talk to the camera right now. There's a lady. She subscribed to this channel. Mm-hmm. And not just to this series.
Okay.
And she probably paid for it.
Okay.
Because she hoped that she can get some insight from this.
Okay.
I want you to talk to her. Just give her a little bit of insight. How can she be productive in her family and yet not threaten the masculinity of a man?
Okay. So, as I'm speaking to you, right, woman to woman, I think the most important thing first that you have to be able to do is put God in the foundation of it.
To end this podcast, Getting Unstuck, episode 2.
Okay.
What are you going to name this podcast? Give it a name.
If I can name this podcast, I would name it Family Matters, but it takes two to do it.
Is this podcast for a white family or a black family?
This is for a black family.
Okay, cool. So can we rename this thing?
You want me to rename it?
Yeah, we got to shoot it to the right people right now.
So let's stop the conversations with the gender wars, and let's really get together and figure out what it takes to build family. And it requires community and two people working in partnership. So I will say it takes the black man and the black woman to be on the same page so that we can really show what black love looks like in family.
Okay. 2 more questions to go.
Okay.
Do you think that a black man is the head of the house?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think the black woman should listen to the black man?
Yes, but at the same time, I feel like we should listen to each other. Why you give me that look?
Wait. We're missing a step here.
What's the step?
Do you gotta listen to your kids?
Yes. I got to listen to my children.
But do you have to make decisions at some point that they're listening to them or not?
Yeah.
You making your decision.
Yes, I'm gonna listen to their decision. Excuse me, I'm gonna listen to their input, because I'm gonna take their feelings into consideration, right? And the reason why I have to take their feelings into consideration is because as human beings, we all have feelings, we all have thoughts, we all have ideas, right? And with that being said, but at the end of the day, I'm always going to do as the parent what I feel is best for them.
Okay. Awesome. Do you think that black women should still work with their man, even if the man does something that they are not in support of?
So you have to really clarify that kind of a question, because when you say something that they're not in support of, what is the conversation that you're really trying to get at? Because I mean, if you make a business decision or a decision for our family that might not be the best decision, I'm going to support you and we'll figure it out. But if you're saying as in you make some kind of reckless decision in infidelity or situations like that, I can't support you.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have to be clear when we throw out a question like that.
From this house, we're going to a basement. That's it. We are struggling financially, so I've thought about it, and I figured that we have to move to a basement. Honey, I know you do have a lot of friends, and I know your friends know we have a house, but at this time, I want us to move to a basement. Mm-hmm. Do you think a black woman should say, yes, honey, I hear you, I understand you. I understand that you've thought about this, and as the head of the family, I will support you on this?
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, because it's in the best interest of the family. Yeah, so that I can agree with. It's going to be uncomfortable because I'm used to a certain lifestyle, but I can understand that.
What does it take?
And I can support that.
What does it take for a woman, a black woman, to be able to have that mindset of, honey, I hear you, and I take you as a father of the house, and I will walk with you? What does it take for a black woman to get to that point?
It takes a lot of conversation, transparent, honest conversation. It takes a lot of trust. It takes a lot of, I respect you and your decisions. I respect you and your character. I know that you are a man of integrity. I know that you are a man of your word. So I know when you show up and you make a decision, you have considered how it affects me, how it affects you, how it affects the children. You're not just making a decision that's beneficial to just you. It's something that benefits this team and this partnership. So it requires men really being vulnerable. And I think why we're not at that place is because men are not being vulnerable to have the conversations that we need to have.
Okay. We're talking about a woman right now.
Right.
Some men are very short-sighted. Mm-hmm. Other men are very low in communication. Mm-hmm. They know what they want, but they don't communicate everything. They say, honey, you know what? I thought about it. I want us to move to a basement. They won't sit down with you and talk this all night. So I want us to bring it back because I keep saying it because I want whoever's watching it now should be watching this. The purpose of getting unstuck and the purpose of this conversation in the Getting Unstuck series is because most families are suffering.
Yes.
They are not working with each other. Mm-hmm. they're stuck.
Yeah, very much so.
They don't like. There's no hope. Like the man is not excited going home. The woman is not excited seeing the man.
Right.
They are living in hell.
Right.
They're dying together rather than living together.
Right.
That's stagnation.
No, it very much is. You're right.
Maybe they started changing just these little baby steps of stuff and just perspective.
Right.
There might be a little light at the end of the tunnel.
That's true.
So that's what I want us to just go straight to this point and tell someone in his or her face.
Yeah.
Men are not perfect.
Right.
In fact, I've met ridiculous men.
Yes.
I've met men who I wouldn't marry if I were a woman.
Right.
But for some reason, a woman ended up marrying him, and now they got kids, they got a whole family.
Right.
He never did anything wrong. He's just being stupid.
Okay.
But he's nice. I mean, he's just being a man, but he's just being stupid. He doesn't know how to make all the best decisions.
Okay.
And he said, you know what, honey? I like this house. I want us to move to the basement.
Okay.
There are no credibility that he's making the right decisions.
Okay.
What do you suggest a woman does in such situation?
So, I think in a situation like that, of course, I'm like, you got to pray about everything, right? So I think sometimes because of the way society is set up, we've been conditioned to show up a certain way in our families and in our relationship, right? But I feel like if we step outside of the societal norms of what's expected of us, I feel like in a situation like that, as a woman, you got to go to God in prayer, right? Because sometimes wisdom and knowledge, like you said, sometimes they do stupid things and make decisions, is not necessarily there. And it's not that their intentions are ill will, but you got to go to God in prayer so you know how to show up and deal with that conversation. And it's going to require a lot of patience. It's going to require a lot of teamwork, a lot of partnership. And I think it's going to be important for you guys to be able to get on the same page. Because a lot of times we are not on the same page. You're speaking one language, I'm speaking a whole nother language, right? Because men and women, they talk something different, right? So I think it's going to be very important for us to sit down and be strategic about it, right? Let's get down to what are the reasons that we're moving for. You know, let's weigh out our pros. Let's weigh out our cons. How does this benefit the family and all of us? Why are we moving to a basement, right? At first, you said it was because of financial reasons. So if that's the situation, I don't think it's too much conversation in it. So it's now, let's plan ahead. And I think one thing that I feel like men and women don't do enough of, and people in general don't do this, you don't sit and set goals. You got to have a goal for 6 months. You got to have a goal for 1 year. You got to have a goal for 5 years. You got to have a goal for 10 years. Now, when I say you have goals, I'm not telling you that, you know, it's set in stone. But if you don't write things down, if you don't plan it out, if you don't have actionable steps, nothing is getting done, right? It's just a wish. You're just talking about it and going in circles. So it's important to do family planning. Family planning requires the husband to be present. It requires the wife to be present. And sometimes it even requires the children to be present. So I think if I had it in a perfect world, I would want me and my family once a week for us to sit down and discuss life together, right? And the reason why I feel like we got to do it together with the children is sometimes we don't prepare our children for the world. And so that's why when we come into family relationship, we're not prepared because everything is just, oh, mom and dad got to discuss it in private. But I think sometimes you got to be able to have a family unit to sit down, and it's preparation for your children. There are going to be some conversations that are above them, but it's still necessary. because the goal is to prepare yourself, your husband, your children to be able to live in a world without you, right? And so I think it's important for us to get back to having family meetings, once a week, to just have like a communion that's going on. You pray together, you discuss certain conversations like finances. Like in my household growing up, my dad didn't talk about money. But I think if he would have had more conversations about money, then I feel like you would know how to support him, right? Because I felt like although he was sick when he passed, he was so focused on being a provider that it killed him to a certain extent. But there's certain conversations that you gotta have with your wife. You gotta have with your children. You can't just say, I'm the man, so I'm going to take this all on my own, because that's not what it was. So what was the point of being in a marriage? What is the point of it being two people if we can't sit down and come and figure things out? If we can't have those hard conversations, right? So, and I got to say that because I think a lot of men carry weight that they don't have to carry. Because your wife, your woman is supposed to shoulder that with you. But how can we do that when you don't show up to have the conversation? It might be embarrassing, right? It might be shameful because you might feel like, as a man, I'm not adequate because I can't do this, right? But a lot of times when a woman comes to marry you, she's marrying potential. She already knows where you can go. She already knows where we can take this family. We just got to be on one accord. But you got to have the conversation. You got to be able to sit down and be transparent. Look, baby, let me tell you, I'm working. I'm picking up these extra hours. The money is just it's not adding up. What is it that you suggest? How can we come together and maybe cut some costs here? What do you think that you can do? How can we help each other? You got to be able to come. So I think that's the biggest issue, right? When you have a family, you have to be able to get to a place where you release that ego. When you guys are in public and all of that, that's cool. You can, you're the man. Do what it is that you got to do. But when we sitting in this household, I need you to show up as my husband, as my partner, as my friend. And you need to be able to have the conversations with me that we need to have. That's where we create that safe space. That's where I can show up and be able to tell you in my most vulnerable place as well what I need from you. And you could tell me what you need from me. And we can really get real. But when we sit in here and we have these masks, we putting on a front, we trying to show up for the world and not each other. Because guess what? At the end of the day, the people out there don't even matter. Because it's me and you that have to walk this life. So it's about what you think, what I think, how you feel, how I feel. We got to be able to sit down and have those conversations. You got to put all that other stuff aside. And men are comfortable with having certain conversations with their homeboys. And no, you need to have them conversations with your woman. Because she's the one that's going to pray for you. She's the one that's going to go on her knees and she's going to go to bat for you, right? Because the goal of your wife is to make sure that her husband is performing in his highest version. Because when you are in your highest space, you can take care of me, you can take care of the children, I can relax. But when I know my man he's not really where he wants to be, it makes me uneasy too. But in that uneasiness, it's constant talking to God. But I need you to be I can't pray for you if I don't know where you lack. You know what I mean? I can go to God and pray just casually. But men got to be able to say, look. So even when we start thinking about the conversation of infidelity, because that's my biggest issue, you got to be able to come to your woman and say, look, I'm having some issues with the flesh. I need you to pray for me. I need you to pray with me. You got to have those conversations because we understand that when you step outside of this house, it's so much temptation. But when you are able to sit down and have those conversations and be real with me, we can figure shit out together. But I think a lot of times men want to, because I'm the man, I got this, I'm macho, cut all that shit. That's a turnoff to women. You know, I need my man to be real with me. I'm hard-headed now. I'm not going to say I'm not. I'm stubborn and I get upset. But one thing I'm going to do is when everything calms down, I'm going to figure out a way to be like, okay, look, I didn't really like what you were talking about. It made me uncomfortable. It triggered me in certain kind of ways because of this, this, and this. But I want to be able to hear you now. You know what I mean? But I think what has happened a lot of times, we never can get to that place because the minute the conversation starts, everybody want to walk away. We want to shut down. So all I'm basically saying is find a way to create a safe space so you and your man can have the conversations that need to be had. Because if we're not confronting the real issues, if we're not having the deep conversations, there's no backbone to the family because the relationship cannot be surface level. Marriage is about being able to see your person in their most authentic form. And sometimes that means that it's in their most vulnerable, it's in their most insecure, it's in their fears, the things that keep them up at night. But if you guys can't talk about those things, how am I going to help you? How are you going to help me? But you got to set the foundation from the beginning. And both men and women have to get to a place where they're okay with being real with themselves first. Because I can't expect you to be real with me if you're not real with you first. So in order for you to let the ego go, you gotta deal with some things. And then even when you can't deal with those things on your own, those are the conversations you gotta be able to have with your woman. I'm struggling here. I'm struggling there. You got a wife. Hello, she's the other half. You guys got to be able to talk it out. You got to fight it out. You got to confront the issues. I saw my parents, like, they argue and then they're friends the next minute. You know what I mean? But they had to have certain conversations. I wish my dad would have talked more about money, though. But I think that was always a touchy thing because in an African household, you know the man as the provider. Even though these new men, they switching up, but you got to be able to have the conversations about the hard things. You got to talk about them. I don't care how uncomfortable, you got to talk about it.
You know what, Janelle? Okay, cool, fine. But I'm not going to let you walk out of here without talking to a black woman.
Okay.
You gotta say something to a black woman. Now, for the black man, I'm going to bring in a black man to talk to the black man. Okay. Right now, to end this podcast amicably, so we still be friends. Okay. All right? You got to say something to a black woman. You can't tell me that a black woman doesn't have a hand in the part of the issues we're having.
No, all right? Of course so they do.
Don't worry, just leave the black men right now. We'll deal with them, or I will deal with them. We'll drill them, all right?
All right.
Now let's focus on the black woman. Just talk to the black woman now so we end this thing real quick.
Okay.
What should they adjust so that the black man can easily work with them? So we knock it out.
So, sis, I'm going to tell you like this. They say that we as black women, we don't listen, right? So maybe take a little more time to just be a little more patient. Take a little more time to hear him a little bit more. Allow him to figure things out. You know, give him the opportunity to show up as the man that you see him as the man that you know that he can be and will be. So give him that opportunity by sometimes just relax. Just go for the ride. It's a little hard. Sometimes just go for the ride and see where it takes you. And then even if you get to that road and it's not the ideal situation that you would have wanted, let that man know that you still love him. You still walk with him, you know, and you guys are going to get to it together on the other side. So I think it's just important for us to be able to humble ourselves as women. I think that's the word. And when we have the conversation of submission, it's not a bad thing, right? You know, but as you're submitting to your partner and you're understanding where he's coming from, ask God to also give you the wisdom to be able to submit, to be able to show up and to just be able to be that safe space for him. So when he does mess up, he knows I can come to my woman because she's going to understand me. She's going to be there to hold me when I need to be held. She's not going to judge me or criticize me. She's going to help me get to where I need to go. So with all that being said, the most important thing that I'm going to say is love your man, love him out loud, love him proud, and just show up for him. Show up for him in the way he needs you to show up for him. So it's going to be important for you to be able to ask him, how can I love you? How can I help you? How can I be of service to you? Right? That's what submission is about. How can we help each other so we can get to the next level? So just be vulnerable, be humble, and just love on your man.
Awesome. That's good. I think that's it.
Shit.
Getting unstuck. Second episode, getting unstuck, talking to a black woman. A black woman talking to a black woman out there. You heard all she said. If this podcast is useful and if you learn something from this podcast, follow up. Her link will be on the description of this podcast. Follow up with her. I'm sure she has great messages. And the reason I picked her for this second episode because she is, I've met her a couple of times and she just seemed to be a beautiful and uneducated soul. So I said,
Thank
hey,
you.
as a business owner and as a family woman with kids, come on and talk to black women so we can get unstuck. Like as a
Right.
black family, we gotta get unstuck. You know,
Yes.
we have to start moving. We have to grow. We have to support each other. We have to educate each other. And there's nothing better than hearing from someone like you telling you straight to your face. There are some key qualities you can develop so we can all grow as a community.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
That is it. Thank you very much.